I've been using the iPhone 12 mini every day since the middle of November, which means 2 months if my math is correct. And this phone is on paper pretty much everything that the iPhone 12 series of phones have, but for less price and less size. And in this video, I'm going to try to explain who this phone is for and who it is not for. Let's go ahead and check it out. So you may think that the number one reason or the number one person to get the iPhone 12 mini is somebody who wants a cheaper iPhone 12 model. At $699, this is a pretty good price iPhone 12 series phone, but I don't think that's accurate. I actually think the number one reason or the number one person to get this phone is someone who wants a really, really small iPhone 12, not just a really, really cheap iPhone 12. In fact, I think that they could make this $200 more and just market it as a really small iPhone 12, and it would still be a decent product. So for a point of comparison, we have here the iPhone 12/12 Pro, the iPhone SE second generation or 2020 model, the iPhone 12 mini, the iPhone SE original, which is also the same shape as the iPhone 5 and 5S. And then we've also got the iPhone 11 Pro from last year. As you can see, the only really close comparison here is between the iPhone 12 mini and the iPhone SE original. And you can see that shape. Obviously, this is still a much smaller phone. It's tiny, really, but this one is not that much bigger. And it's got the same shape too, with its rounded corners and kind of squared off tapered design versus the rounded design of the other iPhone SE. And you can pretty clearly see that the iPhone 12 mini is basically an in-between of the iPhone SE first generation and the iPhone SE second generation, both in terms of height and width, but obviously takes the design more from the iPhone SE first generation with its squared off design. But it's definitely a compromise between these two iPhone SEs. This is the comparison this year between the iPhone 12 mini and the iPhone 12/12 Pro, and there's just a massive difference. Like, this isn't even the big phone this year. The iPhone 12 Pro Max is still much bigger than this, and you can see that size difference there. If you go from one device to the other, it just feels like a completely different universe. And then even last year's iPhone 11 Pro, again, not the 11 Pro Max, just the iPhone 11 Pro, and you can see a big difference there in terms of size. And there's pros and cons to the really small design. A pro, I can run with this really easily, even with the case on, it just fits in my hand and it's not an issue. It also fits into pockets that bigger phones just don't fit into. For instance, the tights that I run with in the winter have a back zipper pocket. I can fit this phone with a case on it inside this back pocket, which is awesome considering that I don't run with my cellular Apple Watch anymore. So if I just need directions or music or anything like that, I have the phone with me in my back pocket, totally unobtrusive. Conversely, this phone is actually too small to fit on one of my Logitech docks that I have at school, which is crazy. It's a vertical dock and it just doesn't fit the wireless charging center. So I have to prop it up a little bit, which is just a small consequence, but something weird to think about with how small this phone is. And then of course there's also the issue of battery life, which we'll get to a little bit later. Now the second reason, which I touched on earlier, would be the price point. At $699, considering it has virtually all of the same features as its older siblings or its more mature or expensive siblings, the iPhone 12, 12 Pro, and 12 Pro Max. It has most of those features for $699. It's pretty great, and only $749 to bump that up to 128 gigabytes, which is what I did here. I didn't go for 256, but I think 128 is a pretty good sweet spot. Coming in at $300 less than what the iPhone 10 started at a few years ago, I think this is a decent price for a kind of high-end miniature phone. So after the tiny size and the decent price point, I think that the third best reason to get this phone would be the first two combined with all of the following features that it takes from the iPhone 12 and higher series phones. So you're getting a lot of bang for buck, and here are all those features I think worth mentioning. 1, water resistance has gotten better again. So the iPhone 12 mini now has IP68 water resistance, which the iPhone 11 had, but this now is 6 meters for up to 30 minutes. That's 18 feet. So you could actually get this kind of deep and it should be okay. Now Apple still doesn't cover water damage in their warranty, so don't go testing it, but you should be moderately comfortable if you're using this around a pool or a bathtub or shower or anything like that, or in the rain. knowing that it won't break because of that, but again, don't test your luck. Secondly, it has Magsafe, which the more expensive iPhones have as well. So this is great if you want to use the magnetic accessories that go on the back of your phone. I already tested out the Magsafe Charger, which is fast wireless charging and the fastest wireless charging that you can get from an iPhone. So if you're into fast magnetic wireless charging, you can do that. There's also the Magsafe wallet, which actually fits really snug on the 12 mini, better than it did on the 12 that I tested out. And then you can also get other accessories such as Belkin's car mount and Belkin's 3-in-1 charger and different accessories like that. If you're into that, they're all kind of pricey and premium and not exactly geared towards the cheaper 12 mini. But like I said, because I consider this a small iPhone 12 before I consider it a cheap iPhone 12, some of those accessories might be nice to complement your experience with the iPhone 12 mini. Next, the screen is more shatter protective and drop protective, so you shouldn't have to worry as much about dropping it and cracking it. However, it does get scratched fairly easily, so I would recommend getting a screen protector for this iPhone just to keep off those key scratches, those table scratches, dirt scratches, all that kind of thing. I think that is a good investment for this phone. Next, cool colors. This comes in a lot of nice colors. I have the blue one here. Again, like I talked about, I like the iPhone 12 and 12 Pro color series better, but I still think this looks pretty cool, and it comes in some other nice colors, so you can get a really good looking phone, and it's just really premium with this new build, and I like its kind of squared off iPhone 5 style design. Okay, next one is something that probably should be higher on this list, but it's 5G. 5G is cool if you have it in your area and your data plan is supported for it, which in some cases will cost more money. But honestly, I think 5G right now is just a little bit overhyped. It doesn't change fundamentally my experience using the iPhone 12 mini, and in fact, it drains the battery so much that I typically have it on 5G auto or 5G off, just because I don't need stupid fast data speeds most of the time if I'm just doing basic tasks on the go. Again, for FaceTime and video streaming, especially high quality video streaming and different instances like that, 5G will be great to get just better video, better streaming, better downloads and stuff like that. But if you're just on Snapchat or Instagram, 5G is not going to make a huge difference, and it's really just going to drain your battery. So it depends on who you are and what type of lifestyle you live. I personally, after these 2 months, haven't found 5G to be game changing, but it probably will be next year or in 2 years. Next is insane performance. So you're getting a ridiculous A14 Bionic chip with this phone. I don't need to go too much into this. It is stupid fast, and for $699, you're getting a phone that is as fast as the phone that is $1,200 with the iPhone 12 Pro Max. Now, this does have less RAM than those phones, but this does such a good job of managing that it's not going to be an issue. It is just really, really quick, and it's a great phone. And it should be really fast and really responsive for 2 to 4 years without it really bogging down too much. And then finally, if you want an amazing camera system for $699 and in a small body, you're getting this. My problem with the iPhone SE from 2020 was that it's a compact phone, it's simple, it's great, but the camera just wasn't crazy. It was a single lens system, so no 2x optical zoom nor a wide angle, and this opts just for the wide angle. There's no 2x zoom, which is okay. Some people might like it more than others, and there's also no, obviously, 3x optical zoom either, but you do get a nice wide angle camera as well as the standard angle camera. You're getting things such as portrait mode, which has been improved again. You're getting 4K video with a variety of settings. You're getting 4K front-facing video as well. You're getting slow motion at 240 frames per second at 1080p, although a lot of other manufacturers are bumping that up to 480 and 960 frames per second, which would be really sweet. You get HDR video, which looks super nice. Now, this is what the HDR video looks like when I import it into Final Cut Pro on my computer, and then you can see what it looks like as I bring down the highlights and bring up the midtones a little bit. And then I do the same thing from the scene in Boston. I bring down the highlights and I up the midtones a little bit. And this is what HDR video can turn out if you're using the iPhone 12 mini for your video. And I think it looks pretty great. And you're getting Apple's best software when it comes to image processing. So you can get some really amazing, really excellent photos with high dynamic range and great colors with this iPhone 12 mini, both for video and photos. So while this isn't the filmmaker's dream smartphone like the iPhone 12 Pro Max is, it's still really solid. And you do have night mode, you do have portrait mode, you do have live photo and you do have 4K video on the front and back with really fast autofocus and generally just a very good camera for this tiny phone. Much better than the iPhone SE, for instance. So those are all the positives of this phone for these past 2 months. And the one real negative I found is battery, and battery kind of sucks on this phone. It's a small phone, and especially with all of the newest technologies in it, battery life just isn't very good. If I'm taking it off the charger at 7, 8, 9 a.m., I'm probably going to need to charge it once or twice throughout the day. Considering that I'm always near a charger pretty much, it's just simply not a huge deal. And with fast wireless charging with Magsafe, and considering the fact that you can get 20-watt chargers with lightning to USB cables to take around in your pocket wherever you go, that means that you can charge your phone up pretty much anywhere. Again, I just think because I'm always near a charger, I don't care too much about battery these days, especially because I'm trying to use my phone less often in general. However, if you are a really power user, or you don't like using battery cases, or you're not around a charger often, this phone probably won't be for you because it will be dying on you. My dad said that the iPhone 12 Pro Max is the best battery life he's ever tested and ever had on a smartphone. So if you want amazing battery life, you're going to have to go up in price and size. That's the big trade-off with this phone. You're going to need a battery case, or you're going to need to be around a charger a lot. If you're going out for a concert or anything, we're going to be away from a charger from a while. Make sure you're fully charged up before you leave, or bring some type of charger with you. And then also make sure to turn off 5G if you want to save on battery life, because that really drains battery. So at the end of the day, I really don't care about 5G yet. Next year, that probably will be different. And the battery life is also really bad on this phone. But for $699, you're saving money, and it's also just really compact, fits in my back pocket when I run, in my hands more easily, and it has all of the power user features that I'm looking for out of a compact phone, which is namely, it's fast, it has a great screen, and the cameras are solid. So if I want to take a really beautiful video or photo, I don't have to worry about sacrificing that just because I want a more minimal or simplistic phone. Let me know if the iPhone 12 mini is the glorious miniature phone for you, or if it's just lacking too much in battery and camera and screen size. I'm really curious what everyone thinks about this phone. But anyway, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.